Hey guys! So, what better place to tell my labor and delivery story than in my nursing chair with my baby breastfeeding at 4:10 in the morning? Welcome to my new reality. So let's go back to Halloween. Halloween night, Joe and I decided to stay home because I was 38 weeks and 5 days pregnant. And we thought we'd just stay home, have a night in together, eat chocolate, listen to kids ringing the doorbell and coming by in costumes, and toasting pumpkin seeds and watching The Nightmare Before Christmas. So we're having like an awesome Halloween night. And then as the night wound down, and we got close to midnight, Joe and I realized that it was going to be November, like in a matter of minutes. And November 9th was Sam's expected due date. And we knew the latest he could be born would be November 23rd. So no matter what, Sam was going to be born in November. And we were so excited that it was only a few minutes to the month. Well, little did we know that we would not have to wait until November 23rd to meet our little boy. And at 5:20 in the morning, I woke up with this unusual pain. I had been having Braxton Hicks contractions for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'd started to have this tightening and like pubic bone pressure for a few days leading up to this morning. So I woke up and the pain is best described as an intense pubic bone pressure slash like intestinal pain that was really sharp and intense, as if, I don't know, you'd eaten like a million pumpkin seed shells, and all those pumpkin seed shells were like digging into your intestines and clawing their way through your system. So it was really painful, but it felt like something that could just be an indigestion type pain, right? So I got up and I started to noticed that I couldn't sleep through this. I had to get up. So I got up. I would walk around every time it happened and then go back to bed, lay down, and sleep for like a few minutes, and then wake up because that pain was happening again, and walk over to the stairwell and just kind of like grit my teeth and manage this sucky sensation, which I'm just going to call pain for now. And then go back to bed and repeat. And after a while I realized this pain wasn't going away and that it might not be indigestion, but it might be something more. It might be labor. So I got up and I came to this chair. I downloaded a contraction timer app, and then my cat jumped on my lap, and I'm pretty awesome. And instead of moving through the contractions, I let my cat hang out and just grit and bear it on my chair. After like probably 40 minutes of contractions and timing them, I looked down at my phone and it said that my contractions had been over a minute, and they had been happening every 3 to 7 minutes. So the interesting thing about that is, for early labor, usually contractions are at least 15 to 20 minutes apart, and they don't really last longer than a minute. So me being like the logical person I am, I just decided that, okay, this isn't early labor because I shouldn't be having contractions that are over a minute and only 5 minutes apart, so it's not labor. So it must be the pumpkin seeds seeking their revenge on my intestines. And then I kept trying to go back to bed. So this went on for about 2 hours. So I woke up at 5:20, and then by 7 o'clock Joe's alarm had gone off, and he'd hit snooze, and then he'd sleep for longer, and then his alarm would go off, and he'd hit snooze, and then after like a half an hour of this, we came around to 7:30, and I was like, okay, Joe, I think you should get up because it feels like stuff is happening and I don't know what's going on. So Joe got up and he's looking at me, and then a contraction started, and I was like, I'll be right back. And I left the room, went to my stairwell, and kind of like leaned on the stairs and just got through things. And then when I came back in the room, Joe looked kind of like deer in headlights, like, "Are you in labor?" And I said, like, "I don't know, like, I could be, I don't think so. I think it's the pumpkin seeds, but I don't know." And I just, I don't know. It might sound really stupid, but I just couldn't believe that I could be in labor. Something that you should know is that our due date was November 9th, and the whole pregnancy I had been saying, like, "Oh yeah, Sam's gonna be born late." My mom had all three of us late, like myself and my two sisters. We were all late. So I'm guessing he'll be born like 41 weeks along. And we were only at 38 weeks and 6 days. So I didn't think it was possible that I could be in labor given that I was so early and that the contractions were so close together. Joe went on the computer and started like researching early labor, and he pulled out his like dad's guide to pregnancy and started reading about early labor, and I could tell like Joe was kind of in shock and kind of needed his own time to just read about stuff. So I just continued to labor on my own, and with each contraction, I was managing the sensation by just breathing through things and keeping my mouth nice and relaxed, which keeps the sphincters all relaxed. Just in case it was labor, I wanted to just keep things moving along. So fast forward to 8 o'clock. Um, I was talking to Joe and I said, "I think we should call the doula." Ooh, that's Sam. um, I was like, "I think we should call the doula because I think this is labor." And he agreed that this was probably labor. So Joe called a doula, and I don't know, he did his conversation with them, and she suggested that I go have a bath. So Joe drew me a bath, and I got in the bath, and then Joe started timing my contractions around 8 o'clock. And um, I would just let him know when they started, and I started to do visualization to manage the contractions. So I would imagine like waves crashing, like waves coming into the shore, and then waves crashing when the contraction peaked, and then waves receding. And this is a strategy that I picked up from reading Ina May Gaskin's Guide to Childbirth. I thought it was a good idea. So I tried this out, and visualization was working really well for me. I would just put a towel on my forehead, close my eyes, and I would not be able to talk through this, and I did not want Joe to talk to me. I just get through it. And after a while in the bath, as Joe was timing contractions, I found that it was really helpful when a contraction hit for me to get up out of the water, put my arms on the side of the tub, and like go up and down, um, and just up and down, and breathing through the contractions, keeping my mouth relaxed, and visualizing. And slowly my visualization turned from like waves crashing to horseback riding. I know this sounds really hokey, but it helped me manage the contractions. Didn't have like a Tylenol or anything for this, and it was pretty intense. And I'd say by about like 8:15, Joe had pointed out that um, my contractions were following like the 3-2-1 rule. And in talking to the doula decided she was going to come over. Feel like I should pause at this point because come 8:15, I had been in labor for 3 hours, and things had been. I was having contractions 3 minutes apart. Like that's really fast for early labor, because I expected early labor to be 15 to 20 minutes apart. I thought Joe and I would maybe like play Super Mario Brothers, make a pie, hang out, look at our Europe photos. I had this whole list on my computer of like things Joe and I could do during early labor, because I figured, hey, things are gonna take like 12 hours to 24 hours before this baby's gonna be born, so we might as well have fun. I imagine like the doula coming over at some point, and we'd do massage. If you watched my labor kit video, I had all this stuff planned, like maybe color visualization, using lavender oil for massage, and maybe like dim lighting, just different things to manage the pain. But anyways, suffice to say, I really expected early labor to last a lot longer. So, around 8:15, my contractions start to get more intense. And around this time, Joe wanted to put me on the phone with either the doula or a midwife or somebody. But basically the conversation went like this. The doula said, "Hi Angela, so you think that you're in labor?" And I couldn't talk. So I'm just like on the phone. And at some point I'm like, yes, yes, and I just passed the phone back to Joe because I just could not talk. Contraction hit and no talking. So Joe went back to doing his phone conversation stuff. And I had said to Joe that I think you should pack the bags because things are picking up and I think this baby's going to be born today.